Hello, everyone. My name is Ephraim Smith, and welcome to another video here on this channel. We like to call that queer idiot on this series called "Some Loser Talks About Forgetting the Title of His Channel." It's not even his channel; it's whatever. Anyway, we're jumping straight into it. We're going to be talking about incels. Incels are more or less people who I feel like I'm gonna really butcher the meaning because I feel like it can more or less apply to people who aren't incels, and I'll just be incorrectly labeling them. But incels are basically people who have given up way too soon on trying to find true love, and they are ultimately homophobic, uh, misogynistic, uh, transphobic, all this not fun, groovy stuff. Um, it's genuinely very sad. Um, Unfortunately, people make fun of them. Totally what I'm not going to do, but I'm going to be analyzing a few posts that have been made on this site. Um, in regards to the whole incel uh, community, try to walk in their shoes for a bit. Although their shoes are probably really filthy because they probably never leave the house ever. But whatever. So, this video is more or less satirical in a sense. I do. I am going to provide my general opinion on this by the end of the video, but for the most part, it is more or less supposed to make you guys laugh in a sense. Not necessarily laugh at these people. I feel like that's a bit far to laugh at these people. But I'm already putting myself at a risk of being exposed, possibly doxxed by these people because they don't like being insulted. And I can see why they don't like being insulted because they're generally seen they're generally seen as worse than they really are, and I don't really want to paint them worse than they really are. Um, all I can hope for is that they get the help they need, and maybe once they mature, they will look back on these days and laugh at themselves. With that being said, let's jump in to the first post, which is more or less a joke, just to ease our way into the community. It reads, "We women have rights." That's literally how it is spelled. WAHMEN. And it goes on to say, "Rights are imaginary." I chose this post because one of the comments is basically one of the statements is a hard fact. The comment reads, "Yeah, they have rights, all right. The right to shut the hell up and make me a sandwich." See, I stand by that statement. That is the only. This is a rational man right here. Okay, there are a bunch of irrational pricks on this site. This is the only man who's ever gone to college. This is the only man who has the education, and I really respect this man. I hope to one day have an intellectual conversation with this man. But we're getting ahead of ourselves here. Next we have I'm going to fucking snap, where I actually agree with one of the fellow incels on this site. But let's read into this a bit. The post reads, "I went to a singles event. I told a couple of girls they look cute and would like to go on coffee with me. They got scared, I was told, and thought to call the cops. What should I do?" Um, well, assuming you didn't say, "Would you like to go on coffee with me?" because that's improper grammar. But assuming you didn't say that, um, I actually agree. I shouldn't say agree because I'm like agreeing with a question, which doesn't make any sense. But I do personally side with this person a lot. I do feel like this is the first time that in incel, I shouldn't be putting that in quotes, but uh, I don't see any real rational reason as to why uh, these girls would react so I shouldn't say aggressively, but they would act in such a way that they feel like they are threatened or violated. Um, of course, this post only provides us with a little bit of only a small bit of context, so we don't, of course, know the full story. He could just be a genuinely creepy person. Maybe he was looking at them funny. Maybe he was touching other girls. We don't know that part because he doesn't tell us that. But what we know, just from what we know, I don't think I don't think he's necessarily in the wrong here. A lot of the times, incels are in the wrong in many situations. Just from the information we are given, I don't want to immediately point a finger. But that's just me. Uh, Next post. Let's see. Understanding women. A concept of which these people will never understand. This post is very poorly put together. I shouldn't put together, but it tries to put together a list. Like it puts number one, and then it just lists other things without any numerical or bullet listed, um, order. So I shouldn't say it was hard to follow, but I expected it to be like a checklist, and it really wasn't. So it threw me off a bit, but whatever. Let's see. We're just gonna be we're just gonna be going over some of the key things that really struck out to me. If you're an asshole, they will like you more than a friend. No, this is actually quite the contrary. Because quite frankly, you're acting like an asshole here in this post. And that would, under that logic, that would mean that women like you more than a friend. But then again, you're on this site, and you wouldn't be on this site just for shits and giggles. Like, you're on this site because you can't find a girlfriend. And yet, you're contradicting yourself because you're saying that assholes will get girls to like them more than friends, but you're acting like an asshole already. So, like, what? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. And it also says touch them if they look at you and smile a lot, more than 3 times. Uh, Big no. If I pissed a girl off and she starts giving me dirty looks more than 3 times, that doesn't allow me to touch them. It's that simple. And even if it's just a friend, okay, even if it's just a friend, like making eye contact like normal human beings should. Um, I'm not allowed to touch them, unless of course they give me the consent to do it. But more often than not, I'm not going to just touch someone because they look at me more than 3 times. I feel like this person has actually attempted this and has probably almost gone to court for sexual assault. Imagine touching every person who looks at you or smiles a lot more than 3 times. It would be ridiculous. We now get into the racist part of this community. Let's see. Black foids. Now, foids or femoids are basically another word for women. Uh, the terms foids and femoids, females, and they're all used interchangeably. They're not really supposed to be used in any real situation. Like you wouldn't call a woman a foid if they were being mean to you. Um, even if even if a woman was being nice to you, you'd still call them a foid. It's not necessarily an insult. It's just a weird word that they came up with. I have no idea if it really even means anything significant, but whatever. Black foids. They are some of the biggest hypocrites and hate black men. They'd rather submit to chads than their own. But they love to preach how they only love black men while fucking chads every chance they get. That is highly inaccurate. I feel like I'm speaking for all the black people on this site. Not on the site, but all black people in general. I guess I can't really speak for all the black people in general. But no, no, they don't submit. They don't submit to chads. They don't preach about only. They don't preach about how they only love black men, and they aren't hypocrites. They aren't. I feel like they're just going off the stereotype of how black women are uh, seen or interpreted in media like movies and TV shows, um, which is stupid. First of all, but sure, whatever, go off, I guess. And a lot of them just sort of go on and on. The comments go on and on, being kind of racist too. Um, yeah, it's just a giant, 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 giant mess. And yeah, I don't stand by it. It's not pretty. Last post we're going to be looking at today is every date I hate women more. And I don't even know if it was a spelling error or he's gone on multiple dates and every date he's gone on, he's hated women more and more and more. But let's see. Every day, my hatred for these god-forsaken creatures just grows more and more. One of the reasons I stopped believing in God is because I figured a superior being could not have created the worthless shit stains called women. Well, this is a lot to decipher. Okay, so coming from me personally, I stopped believing in God a while back, not because of the reason he said. Um, that was way before I came across this site. Uh, uh, he's not the only one who has this mindset. A lot of them have this. A lot of the incels have this mindset that women are just vile creatures who manipulate and lie in a hypocritical, um, solely because they can't get, solely because men can't date them. The solution to not being able to date any of these women is to insult them and believe that they don't have rights, and that's stupid. First of all, um, overall, this community, um, it's a very interesting community. It doesn't really, it's not a very large community, but there's a small pool of people and people who regularly post on the forum who basically keep the uh, community on the site running and functioning. And it's genuinely very sad because um, I feel like these incels have basically given up too soon on true love. They officially just gave up and decided just to not even try anymore. And that is genuinely very sad. I've been, I hate to always insert myself into this, but I have been rejected 4 times this year. And you don't see me turning into one of these vile creatures. And I'm sure there are other people who've been rejected many times. There are probably millions of people who have been rejected millions and millions of times. And they aren't incels because they learn to accept that there's always other fish in the sea, and it's not always themselves that's the problem. A lot of times, incels think that they themselves are the problem. They blame uh, they they blame their rejection on maybe their looks or actually really just their looks. They just blame it on their looks. Um, they're not they're not funny or all these stupid things, and I think they just general, I think just generally come off as assholes to begin with, and uh, I think women are definitely in the right for rejecting them. Now, of course, that's not to say that all women are great people. It's different if a woman is being a bitch, but more often than not, they aren't. They aren't. That's as simple as it gets. Um, like a man will just get rejected one too many times, and they just blame it on society and their looks, and women are just vile creatures who aren't grateful enough, and it's very sad because incels more often than not they do become they can end up harming others. They can even become pedophiles to some extent. And you already know how I feel about pedophiles. I am very passionate against pedophiles. Um, I'm starting to become really passionate against incels too. But these people have just given up too soon. And some incels, unfortunately, are mentally disabled. So we we sometimes take that into consideration. Not all incels are mentally disabled. We shouldn't label all incels as mentally disabled. We should give them a little more levity because they don't necessarily have the ability to necessarily process uh, thoughts as easily. But then there are the able-minded people who just go on and on and on about women are evil. Women only want chads. Women just want to get fucked by 6'5" men with 8-inch cocks. That's literally what they say, more or less. And then they complain about how their size is too tiny. One of them even says, I hate to be making fun of them. One of them even says that their size is a third of the size of a water bottle, which I find incredibly unbelievable. Assuming they are a grown adult, and their size is the size of a water bottle. So that would be, I'm trying to think, that would be about, I'm looking at this correctly, water bottle is about maybe this high, maybe a little bit taller. That would mean that their dick size is like that much, like up to my hand, more or less. I might be scaling that a bit inaccurately, but that is incredibly small. And I doubt that's why a woman doesn't like you. In fact, I don't think the pants even came off before. I don't think the pants came off. After I don't think the pants came off before she rejected you. Um, a lot of them, resort to like paying escorts and stuff. I have nothing against escorts and stuff, but these people, um, they're just genuinely assholes in general, and we can laugh at them all they want. We genuinely can laugh at them all we want, um, because I'm even risking myself making this video insulting them. Not insulting them, but I guess criticizing them for their skewed worldview. But at the end of the day, it's going to be perceived as insulting them. And it sort of is. I mean, I'm laughing at some of the things they say, but it's so ridiculous because it's appalling that anyone can think like this. But at the back of my head, it's like, what are they going to do about it? Like, I know what these type of people are just from the few days that I have spent on this site. I know what these type of people are. I know what they're capable of doing, and they're not capable of doing jack shit. Like, the worst they can do is probably expose me in another video in response to this, of which I probably won't even come across. But they aren't going to do anything harmful because I just don't think they're capable of doing it. Um, but I do genuinely think there is hope for these people. I genuinely think there is hope for these people. I hope they can move past this, and I really want to see the better. Um, and hopefully, that's all I ask for. I want things to change. I want things to be better for them. Um, Hopefully, they find a woman who loves them unconditionally and them right back. And hopefully, we can just move past this dark age of inceldom that has more or less been a thing ever since the internet has been created. So, with that said, I hope you like this video. Subscribe if you want to watch more. Leave a like or dislike. I don't really care. With that said, my name is Ephraim. I'll get you on the next one.